I got laughed at in a coffee shop a few days ago for raising my hand. True story. They were out of cream at the coffee bar, and when I looked up toward the counter, the barista was talking to a customer, and I didn't want to interrupt. So I picked up the carafe, and I raised my hand. After a beat or two, the barista saw me, and he burst out laughing. "What is this, school?" he asked. "You don't need to raise your hand." I disagree. He knew exactly what I needed, and what I meant was just a gesture, because I had chosen the universal symbol for, I have something to say. Michelle Obama said, "Our future as an innovative country depends on ensuring that everyone has access to the arts and to cultural opportunity. The intersection of creativity and commerce is about more than economic stimulus. It's about who we are as people." In the 2007 version of Cities Ranked and Rated, Merced, California was ranked 370th out of 373 cities in the US. The fourth worst city in the country based on healthcare, education, types of available jobs, and affordable leisure activities. But that's not what downtown really looks like. On Main Street alone, Mercedians can experience live theater, art exhibits, locally owned coffee shops and restaurants, a thriving music scene, new and classic films, big names in comedy and performing arts, children's theater, and journalism geared specifically toward the happenings of downtown. Festivals, parades, and fairs happen in a near constant annual stream as the town comes together to celebrate cultural, seasonal, or community events. After-school programs in dance, ballet, folklorico, and musical theater have been thriving for years, as have classes in acting, voice, and instrumental music for all ages. And yet, aside from annual homecoming parades on Main Street or the Cap and Town graduation celebration, the active arts scenes in downtown Merced are rarely utilized by Merced high schools. And despite being the county seat, citizens from around the rest of the county continue to think of Merced as a small, out-of-date agritopia with little to offer in the way of culture. Low-income areas of the county continue to be educationally, socially, and culturally underserved. And our students continually grow up with a dream of escaping as opposed to assisting their community. I have a problem with the way students are being educated. I have something to say. So I'm raising my hand. The Merced Academy for the Performing Arts is going to be a full-scale charter high school. It is a public school with no tuition located in downtown Merced.
All California students are welcome to apply. When you apply, you choose to audition in one of 3 disciplines, either acting, voice, or dance.
No one will be accepted or rejected because of grades or academic performance, because it's our belief that artistic exposure improves academic performance.
In a day at the Academy, students will work on social studies, English, foreign language, math, and science, as well as a daily dose of performance.
As much as possible, these academic units are approached through the performing arts, with pieces of music, theatrical performances, radio programming, and literature being deeply integrated to create a hands-on curriculum with largely portfolio-based assessments. With the entire brain being utilized, the way it is when reading music or recreating a theatrical scene, it is the Academy's fondest hope that learning happen on a deeper, more intrinsic level in order to successfully create lifelong learners who engage more successfully in school. Not all work will take place in one location. Every day, students will journey away from their academic hub to one of several different cultural centers downtown to take performing arts classes with professionals. In this way, students become part of the tapestry that is downtown Merced and become more exposed to and understanding of its issues, its policies, its problems, and its solutions. It is the Academy's fondest hope that students feel a connection to the city and go on to become leaders in this community and others, who have the desire for change and the complex communication skills and resources to enact that change. At the Academy, we would dearly love to produce the next big Broadway star, but that's not our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goals are to use the performing arts to close the achievement gaps that exist in low-income pockets all across Merced County, to emphasize and support the already existing artistic community of downtown Merced with the continuously fresh perspective of youth, and to aggressively change youth culture in Merced from an escapist to an engaged culture. Merced is not Murdead. We aim to create better teachers for our schools, better scientists for our laboratories, better politicians to represent us, better doctors to heal us, and better advocates to fight for us. By utilizing the performing arts, we engage children on a level which not only teaches them academically, but educates them emotionally. We aim to create students who empathize with other human beings in their community, in their nation, and in their world, and give them the skills to identify large and small problems and come up with large and small solutions. The Academy is going to change the way education is done in our little corner of the Agritopia. It's going to change downtown Merced, how business is done, and what the status quo appears to be. It's going to change how parents, families, business owners, and politicians think about the county of Merced. But it's not going to happen at all without your help. Now look around you for a second. Take in your surroundings and think about who might see you while you do this. Maybe you're waking up in the morning, heading off to work. Maybe you're on a lunch break. Maybe you're at home with your family. Maybe you're about to go to bed. Think about who might see you. If there's no one there to see you, then there's no reason not to be as honest as possible. And if there is someone there, consider the positive change you could make. Raise your hand if there's any child in your life, a daughter or a son, a nephew or a neighbor, who's being educated in a public school. Now raise your hand if you're unhappy with the way education is happening in America. Raise your hand if you've ever seen a child participate in a community arts project and come away changed. Now raise your hand if that arts project has been cut from the schools, or if it never existed in the schools to begin with. Raise your hand if there's a child you know who likes to sing, or dance, or act, or draw. Now raise your hand if you know that child can't afford to get the instruction that they need. Now raise your hand if you've ever lived in a place precariously poised on the brink of either total disaster or remarkable success. Now raise your hand if you'd like to help push us toward being a success. Charter schools are expensive and starting them is tricky.
Your donation will go toward continuing to educate the community about our vision and perform much needed research and services to move that vision forward.
Innovation can happen anywhere, and right now it's happening here. Donate to the Merced Academy for the Performing Arts and give Central Valley students a chance to experience the arts education that prepares them to be the leaders we need them to be. Any little bit helps. So if you believe that the performing arts can revitalize education, or that the idea of youth can revitalize a community, or that educational options can change the way we think about our schools, then raise your hand.